Hello, Assalamualaikum. Peace be with you. Welcome back to the new episode. I hope it's not too late. It's still Eid or Raya. Selamat Hari Raya, maaf Zahir dan Batin. And as we're just leaving Ramadan, the blessed month, and we're entering a new chapter, a new season, Shawwal. I'm not sure if you also feeling the same way. There's a tension between the habits that we have formed, some habits that we have formed during Ramadan, and then at the same time, on the other hand, I'm also feeling a bit worried whether I could maintain some of those habits. So it's like I could feel there's a sense of tension there. Let's just use the losing weight scenario, okay, as example to illustrate my point. Okay, so on one hand, losing weight is can be seen as a long-term value, right? But what is at risk here? What am I risking losing? The short-term gain from having those delicious food, right? And also some weight to gain. Let's zooming out to the organizational context. Okay, so this is actually a part of 2025 Deloitte's Global Human Capital Trends report. Okay, so surprisingly, okay, from the last year's research done by Deloitte, only 6% of respondents saying that their organizations are making great progress in establishing human sustainability, meaning they are confident that they are able to create value for all people that can confidently say, yes, we're nailing that. Okay, we can say that we are creating and providing values for all people in our organization. And based on the report, unfortunately, at large in general, there's still a notion of, oh, do we need to balance business outcome or do we need to balance human outcomes? It's like either or, when it's actually balancing the two tensions between business outcome and human outcome. And the research suggests that the business leaders are stuck in wait and see cycle, okay, because they don't know how to balance the tensions, how to navigate the tensions between business outcome and human outcomes. Okay, so you can imagine being stuck, right? Being stationary, being static, not knowing how they can take complex action to address these challenges. Should we exercise, should we put more empowerment in place in system in terms of where and when our workers work? Or maybe on the hindsight, there might be ambiguity in terms of the role. Okay, so we need to put more control. Okay, these are some of the fundamental tensions that are faced by business leaders. Okay, so as you can see here, there is no right or wrong answer. It's not either or, choosing either this spectrum or the other spectrum. Okay, but it's about striking that balance. And that was me when I was in my wait and see cycle. It's actually a representation, okay, this image, okay. As you can see the posture there, just sit and wait, right? So it's the transition from wait for the right opportunities, for the right projects, okay, with that mindset, okay. The right opportunities, the right timing for me to launch into a new territory, as I've shared before, to curate, to create something. Okay, so it's the transition between just wait lah and see, if there are good projects, great projects coming, and I can be part of those projects versus, okay, looking at where I am right now with the resources I have, okay, with the room for improvement, what can I create today? If you are curious about what drove that shift from being a freelancer to a conscious creator or conscious curator of experiences for me, it's that tolerance for ambiguity. Okay, so there's a proverb, okay, that I just learned. You can't see the forest for the trees. So basically, it's hard for us to see the whole big picture, right? The whole, we cannot see situations, the big picture when we are in the middle of the situation. Is this the truth for our personal growth journey? One thing I know, our journey, our growth is not linear, okay? So I want to play this short excerpt from this podcast, okay? So let's listen to this.
It wasn't, something that started with a design sprint and ended. We've been working together in a creative problem solving capacity over the last 6+ years.
Let's talk a bit about the title of your new book, Nonlinear. And maybe just walk us through what nonlinear thinking is. How might it be different from thinking in business terms or in engineering terms or design terms?
Even with the rise of things like design thinking, human-centered methods and approaches, the business world at large, when introduced to a new methodology, there tends to be a tendency to take the risk out of any approach. Like once it kind of works over here, I want to replicate that and ask all the teams to sort of follow that same approach. And so the de-risking leads us to sort of formulaic practices that you can't necessarily tweak or break later in time when it is appropriate to do so. So nonlinear, in a way, especially with design being the youngest to the party in terms of the creative problem solving at the table, I wanted to shine a light on design's nuances. That design is so much more than the sprint framework, or if you follow these 6 steps, you get innovation automatically. We know that design is much richer and more nuanced than that. So how can we shine a light on these nuances and complexities as a source of nonlinear advantage to have people understand, armed with new perspectives, how can we help them understand the litany of choices that they can have as they enter a forest of ambiguity and be able to make a decision based on the best information they have at their disposal, to take a step and experiment, to learn more, to get more evidence, to get more inspiration, to get more insights and data points, to then navigate to the next step of effort. Ideally, for the sake of learning our way, prototyping our way to the more relevant solution versus just any solution.
Yeah, really inspiring, right? I was inspired when I first listened to this, especially the part that I just played. I'm still feeling nervous, I'm being honest here, because then I was thinking, right, okay, how about it's okay if I can't see the whole big picture, okay? But what I can do is to experiment, okay? So in science, we have this titration, right? Where we titrate the liquid, right, into smaller containers, smaller beaker, right? I can do that, okay? So that's what inspired me to come here and share the journey so far with all of you. Honestly, at this moment, I can't say that I'm the one that thrives on uncertainty. If anything, uncertainty really make my heart beat faster, okay? And then the overthinking pattern. But I figured something along the way, right? As I'm journeying. You know what? Maybe this is the season. This is a space for me to use ambiguity as my motivator. How about if I could set 100 days for me to practice to function in this fog of uncertainty, right? I mean, in general, life is uncertain. The world is very much changing every day, right? There's nothing we can't really predict, honestly, right? So that's when I decided, okay, from the first episode, okay, which was last 11 or 10 days, I was thinking, okay, let's do this 100 days of creative exploration. Okay, so I'm happy to report we're currently here, day 10. So I hope I can come here and record the learning journey, document the learning journey, and share insights that I've gained along the way. Hopefully every 10 days. Okay, inshallah, you got this. Of course, I want to report. Of course, I want to share what I've been up to in the last 10 days. Please, let's just pretend all of you are my managers that I need to report to. Okay, so I just want to share a little bit snapshot about what I've been creating in the past 10 days. Okay, so yeah, not giving too much spoiler, but this is something that I hope to pilot with my target group. Okay, I hope I get to update more as we go, and I will try my best, okay, to enjoy the journey. Just a little snapshot, okay. So I was sharing with you before, I was stuck in that wait and see cycle, start minority, waiting for the right timing opportunities, and as I'm unfolding the 100 days of creative exploration, I aspire, okay, and I hope I get to share here, okay, the journey of how I would be willing to embrace ambiguity and exploration. Okay, as usual, there will be a reflection. Okay, a point, a pause for reflection. Okay, how about we're taking a pause? Okay, in navigating our forest of ambiguity, embracing that idea. Okay, inspired by Kevin's work in nonlinear. Reflect about random experiences. What seem like random, like zigzag of journey. What are they preparing you and for the future world? Okay, so that's it for this episode. Okay, so I would like to conclude day 10 report, day 10 finding of the experiment is that intersection of exploration and ambiguity, and the golden string would be to unlock new perspectives, new shifts, new layers of ourselves, and new possibilities. Okay, so I'll see you, inshallah, if God wills, in the next 10 days.